What's up guys, Jivan back with another video. This Cash Cup, I took major risks in my gameplay just so that I could learn from it. I put aside all my desire and feelings to place in the Cash Cup and forced myself to step outside of my comfort zone and try out new things. Specifically, something I always struggled with in Cash Cups was W keying, and so I decided to W key multiple games in this tourney. Believe it or not, I actually almost dropped a 20 bomb, which is the game you're watching right now. However, because I was W keying like almost every game, I did end up losing a lot of games and not placing the best, but it was 100% worth it because I learned a lot. On top of that, I also VOD reviewed Benjyfishy's gameplay twice for this tourney, so we're going to be going over all the stuff I learned from W keying, what I learned from Benjy, and we're going to go over some of these late games because I actually had some god tier rotates while I was trying to mimic Benjy's style. Before we hop into it, please consider using code JivanTV in the Fortnite item shop, or at least make sure you're using somebody's code because it helps us out a ton. Without further ado, let's get into this VOD review. Okay, that was too much. Anyways, so this game that you're watching right now was my third game. The first two games I actually died off rip. Another thing I was trying to do in this tourney was land at POIs and fight it out there so I could get some POI practice, but I struggled with it a little bit at first. When it came to off-spawn fights, I was landing at Steamy, and most of the games where I got a lot of points were games where I dipped out of there early. There were so many times where I either got no shield or no shotgun, and instead of dipping right away, I just stayed there and tried to take a fight. So in the future, if I get bad loot, I'm just gonna dip out of there with a car or the Steamy stacks. Because I had a couple games where I actually was super shambles off rip, I hit the stacks and I was chilling after that. Survival is key, you know, even if you're trying to get some kills off rip, it's not worth sacrificing your games just to fight off spawn, so that was one takeaway. Another takeaway is that if you get down bad on points, and you're in these lobbies here that I'm playing in now, it honestly just felt like arena with more people camping. I was able to run through all these players so fast. And recently I've been W keying arena like crazy. Like when I get on, my new goal is to try to drop 20 bombs in solo arena. And that gave me a lot of confidence this week. I don't think I would have been able to get all these kills if I hadn't done that in arena. Another thing that helped me out a ton in this game was thinking about the stuff I talked about in my sports mentality, my athlete mentality video. If you guys haven't seen that, I'll link it in the description, but that stuff goes a long way in a Cash Cup especially. Getting in that competing mindset and being able to keep your cool, controlling your adrenaline, all that kinds of stuff which I talk about in that video, it helped me out a ton in this situation. I was hitting way heavier pumps than I normally do, and I just felt in the zone, mainly because I was thinking about that stuff I talked about. Another thing that helped me with the W keying was watching Benjyfishy's gameplay, because I saw like how confident he played and how cracked his mechanics were, and I don't know, you might be like me, you may not be like me, but when I watch somebody play really well and then I hop on myself, I notice myself mimicking their playstyle. I notice myself having more confidence. I don't know. It could help you out too, I'm just saying. Just right before a Cash Cup, I'll try to watch a little bit of somebody's gameplay, or the night before VOD review somebody, and it goes a long way. It helps you keep in your mind how to play a tourney the right way and gives you that extra confidence and understanding of what you should be doing in the Cash Cup. So I just want to talk a little bit about how I'm W keying this late game, because you're probably wondering, Jivan, how are you still W keying and not scared of getting lobby focused and all that? Well, you can see that I'm completely boxed up in metal, and I'm picking my fights very carefully. No matter who I fight, I make sure that I have a ton of cover built around me. But I'm also trying to fight people that are on parts of the map where not too many players boxed up can look at us and spray. For example, in this fight here, the only person that's probably going to spray at us is the person boxed up right next to us, which he does spray, but I simply add 2 boxes of protection so that I don't have to worry about his spray and I can just focus on the fight at hand. And then you probably noticed how I'm pushing their box. I'm always pushing from the left side. That way I have a right hand peek on their wall, and I'm trying to do it fast. I'm trying to get in fast before they can run away. And if they start to run away, I'm not going to chase them up into the sky, because then we're going to get focused. It's only box fight situations that really can go anywhere. And so yeah, I just try to end those fast. Obviously I have 0 ping, so that helps. Doesn't mean you can't do it on high ping, you just have to play more of a bait play style. If you struggle with high ping fighting, I have a high ping fighting tutorial. Just search how to fight on high ping JivanTV. So you can see in these fights here, you know, we're on edge of zone on the side of a mountain. It's kind of awkward to spray at us, and I really only need to pay attention to like one side. If I was in the center of the map, I could be sprayed at from any angle, but on edge of map, not so much. Anyways, now we get into the late game, and I'm still keying here. I honestly should have just played this for the win at this point, but I was so determined to drop a 20 bomb. I had never done it before in a Cash Cup, so I was just going crazy. Don't judge, it was for me, okay? I don't care how I place in the tourney. I was trying to step out of my comfort zone and I wanted to drop a 20 bombs, so I don't care. When I was watching Benjy play, he went for high ground a lot, and so I wanted to try to do that in this game. And there was another one later which we'll talk about, but going for high ground in this tourney just didn't work. In this situation, I should have built up more slowly to high ground and been spraying at high ground while I did that. I tried to get kind of up to their level and then spray, but they were already spraying at me at that point. So I should have built up slower, sprayed at the other high ground player, and I would have been chilling. Anyways, at this point, there's 6 more enemies left, and I have 15 kills, so if I kill 5 out of the next 6 players, I got a 20 bomb on my hands. So while I'm rotating, I'm just looking for people to psycho at this point, because I don't even care. I see 2 people fighting, I just get in on them, just jumping in on people left and right, but eventually it caused my downfall. Let's watch this. Come on, baby, let's get this 20 bomb. Come on, man. No, why are you focusing me? No! Oh, we could have had to... So even though we didn't win that game, even though we didn't drop a 20 bomb, that was a breakthrough for me. I've tried keying in the past, but my mind was never fully in it. That game, I went all in, I was fully focused, I had been practicing W King all week, and I said screw it, let's step out of our comfort zone this week. I don't care what happens, if I throw my tourney, it's fine. But stepping out of your comfort zone in Cash Cups is so crucial for improvement. I'm looking at improvement down the road. I don't care what happens this week, but I wanted to learn and be able to apply that stuff in my future gameplay. And that's a good way for long-term improvement. You gotta be sure you're stepping out of your comfort zone and not staying comfortable with the level you're at. Okay, so now we're gonna talk a little bit about what I learned from Benjy in his VOD review. The first note I had written down from watching his tourney where he got 2nd place was key like it's arena in the first lobbies. Which, as you just saw, we had that covered. Another thing is during his key games, if he got weak, he would just burn his mats and try to get away. He didn't care how many mats he used. Survival was key. If you die with mats just because you were under building, that is a no-no. So make sure you're burning through your mats if you need to. Another thing that I learned from back in the day from watching Benjy is that he's really good at switching layers in late game, which I'm doing right here on screen. He'll go up and down until he finds a good layer, and that's exactly what I'm doing. This is a good way to not get trapped on the layer you're at, and it helps you gain vision of what's going on around you. Another thing that Benjy is obviously just insane at is constantly looking for the next play, which I'm doing right here on screen as well. As soon as he bases up, either he's popping heals right away or he immediately opens an edit and looks back in zone for more kills. He's constantly what's next, what's next, what's next, not even wasting a second to think. He just has it all down and knows exactly what to do in the moment, which I'm trying to get better at, and I think I did a lot better this week in the tourney. Building the habits of what to look for at certain times in the game and gaining a perfect understanding of that can cause you to waste less time in a tourney, which is so crucial to surviving. Sometimes it literally comes down to just milliseconds where you need to react. That can change your game. So some of the biggest things you need to keep in mind in late games is keeping track of your ammo count, keeping track of how much heals you have, keeping track of where enemies are around you, staying ahead of zone, being ready to look back or immediately start your next task every single time you base up is crucial, wasting no time in the game. Here's an example of how millisecond timing can cost you your game. I was just a split second away from placing that wall, and I took like 100 damage because of it, and it cost me my game. Nonetheless, that was still a really good game, and honestly, I think it hopped me up to around 100th place on the leaderboard when I started so down bad in the tourney. But anyways, this next game is another example of a high ground take gone wrong. So on first moving, I saw loot over here, 2 piles of loot actually, and I went for both of them because one of them had floppers, and so I sprinted into the storm to get the other loot and just pop flops to heal up. And when I got the launch pad, I was like, dude, I'm peppered out, I have a launch pad, let's go for high ground. Obviously, looking back on it, it wasn't a good idea because I got focused by the other side of zone, If you're on high ground first moving zone on the back edge of zone, you're gonna get it taken away from you. Unless you're like the best player in the world and somehow can manage it, but this wasn't the time to take high ground. Honestly, I should have saved that launch and stayed on low ground, just stayed ahead of circle, and I might have had a chance to win that game. But you can see opposite height just absolutely fried me. I wasted all 4 flops and still made it out with only 20 HP. And on top of that, all of my mats are basically wasted, and so now, all of a sudden I go from the most stacked player in the game most likely, to being shambles on the back edge of zone looking for a refresh in like the matter of a minute. When I'm shambles, I literally hug as far back edge of zone as I can using old builds as cover, and I look for somebody else who's shambles that I can get siphon mats from, and then when I get those siphon mats, I try to find somebody else who has a little bit more mats and is less shambles. That's the key to getting from shambles to unshambles. But in this situation, I overbuilt when I got my refresh, and that cost me the game. Because when I got that refresh, I shouldn't have been full tunneling. I don't know what I was thinking. Just not in the zone there. And I know a lot of veteran players that are watching this are probably gonna be like, dude, what are you doing? But like, I know I messed up. It's okay. On to the next game. So in this game, I picked up a couple kills early on, and I was so stacked, but I threw. So once again, you know, I was trying to play like Benjyfishy in this game. And so one thing on my mind, I had launch pads. I wanted to go for high ground again. And so when I launch here, this guy didn't seem like he knew I was coming at all, but when I land on him, I just crank up in kind of a dull way. Like I should have actually done like some nice high ground retake or something. I was thinking it was going to be way too free, which is never the right way to think, you know? So anyways, he just ends up blocking my way to high ground, and I just find a new lair, and I'm chilling on this lair. I still have another launch pad. But yep, somebody flew right into my box, onto my lair, caught me off guard, right as I was thinking about how somebody might fly into my box. Somebody did. And then out of panic, I wasted my launch pad, and once again, I'm in shambles on low ground. But regardless, this tourney was a really big step for me, even though I didn't place well. Like I said at the start of this video, that wasn't the goal. I was trying to pick up new techniques, try to experiment a lot, step out of my comfort zone. And I'm feeling a lot better for future tourneys. Apparently we got a cash cup on Wednesday this week, which is why I uploaded this video so fast. I'll be streaming it live on Twitch, JivanTV, for any of you that want to show up. I also stream Solo Arena all the time, so come on by. But anyways guys, thanks for watching this video. Hopefully it helps you out, or at least you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to hit that like button, sub if you're new, use code JivanTV, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.